it's Barb coming to you from my craft studio. I promised a few people in the Get Organized Challenge that I would film a video about my paper storage. My paper I store in, I have a 4-cube unit over here that I got at Kohl's. It's not an IKEA one. It is 13-inch cubes, so it works. And then I have this 8-cube unit that is from IKEA. If you don't live near an IKEA and you're interested in cube storage, Walmart sells the Better Homes and Garden brand, which I have a few of those units downstairs that I store cookbooks, and I have my kitchen, some of my specialty appliances sitting on them. They work fine. I also have a Target one that is a 13-inch cube unit. It's the Threshold brand. Just be sure that you're looking to make sure you get the 13-inch cubes, because both those stores do sell 11-inch cubes, and if you're going to store 12 by 12 paper, you need the 13-inch cubes. But Walmart, you can actually order online. Any order over, I think it's 45 or 50, is free shipping. So IKEA charges a lot to ship these units, so they're not a practical source for most of us if we don't live near an IKEA. I have one that's about an hour and a half away, so we did make a trip when I was setting up my craft room to IKEA to get what I wanted. But anyways, this is my paper. I use the Totally Tiffany paper handlers for my paper storage. I turn them on their side so they face out, so normally I don't even have to pull these off. But the only time I pull them off is if I'm organizing, going through and refreshing my organization, which I try to do every challenge. I use the Totally Tiffany Scrap Masters for some of my scraps. I use them for my non-named colors. I'll explain that later. But I use the non-named colors like the Recollections or the Hobby Lobby brand. I use those for card making and scrapbooking because I don't need the thickness of the basil for those. I do use a lot of basil for my 3D projects, and I have occasionally grabbed it for the other projects if I don't have the right color over here. But I put my 8.5 by 11 paper up front first. I try to go light to dark. And then I found these, I think they're album sleeves. I found them on Amazon. I ordered them to put my individual colors in. Now, when I put my colors in a sleeve like this, I usually keep the scraps for that right up front. Now, if I get down to all I have left is scraps, I move them into my Scrap Master. Because I made, with the unnamed colors, I'm probably not going to be able to find that color again, because I find with Michaels and Hobby Lobby, if you buy the books, they're constantly changing the shades of colors that are in those books, so it's hard to find that exact color again anyways. So I just mix it in with my generic scraps in my rainbow. But this is the paper I tend to use for scrapbooking or card making. And then I have my 3D card making solid paper, which I want to pull one out that has scraps in it. That would be this one. I file these ones alphabetically by color name. This one is Gold Coins. It's by Basil. I keep an inventory sheet up front. I try to keep track of how many full sheets I have. I store the scraps right in front. I have a Tiffany divider in here with the name on it, and I put the full sheets of paper behind the divider and the scraps in front. So that's how I do. That's my solid named paper. And then we go into my patterns. I have them by sections. My first one is actually double-sided. It's the only one that's not alphabetized. Since I do a lot of 3D projects, sometimes I do ones that I need to have patterns on both sides because you're going to see both sides of the paper when the project's assembled. I don't have a lot of double-sided paper, so I try to keep that separated so that I only use it for those projects, unless I absolutely can't find anything I'm looking for and I only have it double-sided. But I do really try to reserve it just for those projects that are going to show show both sides of the paper. Then I have dots, floral. I do not have floral as a theme. I try to keep my themes about things I craft about. I don't really craft about flowers. I use flowers as an accent on things that I do craft about. That's kind of how I try to think of themes, is do I craft about that subject? If not, that's probably more of an accent for me. So for paper, it's going to go into my rainbow section, not into my themes. That's just kind of how I think about it. Now, animals I do have in there, even though I probably don't craft about those much anymore either. But when my kids were littler, and still, if we took a trip to the zoo now, which you can do when you're older, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind doing that again soon, once we're all through all this stuff that's going on in the world. But I'm going to want to use animal themed paper for that, so I would pull that out. But I have, then after the double-sided, I have dots, floral, plaid, stripes, wood, and then the rest. I know Tiffany says that miscellaneous is not a category, and it's not. Miscellaneous is not organizing, but the rest is, this is all yellow paper, so it is still, even though I know you probably looked at it and think green, but as you pull it out further, there's more yellow on the bottom, and yellow's what stuck out to me. So this stuff is yellow paper. It just doesn't fit any of the actual categories that I subdivide for. So that's next, and then the next section in my rainbow thing is specialty paper. A lot of people will put metallics at the end of the rainbow. I think of metallics like gold. I think of it as yellow, so I put it in with my yellows. So a lot of the stuff in the specialty section is probably gold, not yellow, but I start out with foil, and here again I use the Totally Tiffany Scrap Masters. This is why I still need a few more of them, because I decided to try some in my specialty paper and discovered I really liked it. I do kind of weird sizes in the front pocket, and then I have a section for 6x6, which that one I actually do use. My really tiny scraps I do put in my less than 4x6. If I have anything that's left that's just 6x12, I stick that right there. If I have any 8x8 paper, it goes there. And A4 paper, if I don't have a ton of it, goes here. Now I do have some A4 gold paper, but it had names on it, so I kind of kept it separate. I actually want to get some of Tiffany's A4 vertical. I was trying to think which way the pocket goes, the vertical pockets to put here. Right now they're in horizontal ones, but I'd rather have the vertical one so the tab's on this end so I can see the color. So that this one actually is all foil. Most of the time, I think yellow is the only color where I have two specialty papers. Most of them are all in one package. So after foil, there's glitter, there's mulberry. Mulberry is in one of the Totally Tiffany paper pockets, but I could have used a sleeve for that too. I just kind of like the pocket because it's a little sturdier than the sleeves are, and that paper is kind of fragile, so I like that better for that. Pearl paper, poster board, vellum again is in one of the paper pockets, as is white core. I don't buy a lot of white core paper. I do like it sometimes for embossing because I like the look it gives you for that white to come out, so I do keep it separate from my other paper. And that's kind of how each of my papers are done. On top of my calyx is my three base scrap rack. I'll try to maybe do another video not next week, the week after. Embellishments used to be week 3, but it's week 4 now. They moved photos up in the challenge. I will try to stop the video and go around and show you where my seasonal paper is and a few other paper things I have. Now with scraps, I'm trying to think, did I say that in this video? I had to restart the video. I don't think I did. When I first started doing my scraps, I would cut them down to sizes for card bases, card mats, my We Are Memory Keeper punch boards that use set sizes. The only reason I stopped is because I have quite a lot of that. If I ever need to replenish, I'll do that again with my scraps. But I try not to keep too many scraps. Pretty much it has to fit in this to keep it for my generic paper, and here it's just going to go at the front, so I use that first. But it has to fit, all the paper and the scraps have to fit in that sleeve. So here's the thing, if you're crafting on a regular basis, you are always creating scraps. It's going to happen. There's no way around it, because sometimes even if you're good about using them, if you go over here and you look and you're like, if I pulled out that gold coin one, here's my scraps for that. This is probably my biggest piece. Well, if I need a bigger piece than that, I'm going to have to start a new sheet. So I'm going to create more scraps than what I already have here. I do want to kind of go through my scraps and cut them down straighter. That was something I was hoping to do this challenge. But as some of you know, I had actually 2 deaths in the family during the first week of the GOC, and one of them was my father-in-law, and we're trying to help my mother-in-law find everything that needs to be done, you know, insurance-wise and all that, and the files they had over there as we're going through it, I'm like, my father-in-law did all that type of stuff, and I'm like, I said, if he had a system, I can't figure out what it is. I said, so I'm just going to reset it up so that, and label them in such a way that anybody will know what it is. I feel that's how mine is set up here at home, that, you know, if something happened to me, my husband could open that drawer or that area where my files are and say, oh, I can figure this out because it's all clearly labeled. So that's what I'm trying to do with all her stuff. So I've been really busy. I'm organizing. It's just not my stuff, and it's not my craft supplies, and it's not even my stuff. But I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to go around to the other area. Hopefully I can. I might have to wait because my iPad is charging as I film right now, and I don't think I can wheel it over there. But I'm going to try to, before I upload this video, go over there. Either that, or maybe I'll do a part 2, because I am getting kind of close to that 15-minute mark, and when the videos get much longer than that, they are. So I think that's what I'll do, is I'll do a part 2 and show you the rest of my paper storage, which is just kind of some of the card making supplies and punch board supplies, and my vinyl, and my calendar year. My themes are in that first, that 4-cube unit there at the very beginning. My themed paper is there, and I also have some specialty paper there. I think there's some crepe paper, and I'm not sure what else, but that's kind of my paper crafting paper there. And yes, I know Tiffany's rule, I have enough paper that probably if I stopped crafting, now that's true of some colors. Other colors I'd need to go out and buy, because, you know, you never seem to have the shade you need. That's all I've got to share right now. Catch you next time.